All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Yes.
And today we're going to be jumping into a topic that I personally know very little about.
Okay.
But I've got an expert here with me, and we are going to be taking a look at Bat, Bowl, Repeat, the glorious madness of cricket.
Right.
I'm excited to learn about this.
Yes.
And I think this is one of those topics where people tend to either, they know a lot about it or they know absolutely nothing.
That's right.
And I definitely fall into the nothing category.
Yeah.
So this is a deep dive for people like me.
Okay.
People who maybe have heard of cricket but don't really know
Yeah.
what it is all about, what its history is, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think? Where do you want to start with this? What's the first thing that people need to know about cricket?
Well, I think the very first thing is that it's a sport that can conjure up really strong emotions in people.
Yeah.
Some people are just absolutely fanatical about it, and they might even find it hard to believe that other people have never even watched a game.
Right.
And then other people are just completely bewildered by the whole thing.
You're right.
all those rules, and the fact that a game can go on for 5 days.
Yeah, that's something.
It's like how can that even be a sport, right?
Right, and even how long are those games? Like, how many hours a day are we talking about?
Oh, it's a full day of play.
Really?
Yeah.
But,
So it's a commitment for sure.
yeah, I mean, I'm used to, baseball games, football games,
Right.
Basketball games, things like that.
Right.
They're all done in an afternoon or an evening.
Yeah.
And I like your analogy to people are just like, how can this be a sport?
Yeah.
It's like it's so different.
Yeah. It's very different.
So I guess we should talk about what it actually is then.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I think most people know it involves a bat and a ball,
Yeah.
but that's probably about the extent of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the similarities with baseball kind of end.
Okay.
There's no running around bases in cricket.
Okay.
And the way you score runs is a lot more complicated.
All right. So maybe
It's really a unique sport.
maybe you should set the scene a little bit for us.
Okay.
Like if we were to go back in time when this whole thing started.
Okay, so picture this. 16th century England,
Right.
green rolling hills, sheep grazing peacefully.
Or shepherds.
Shepherds, yes, exactly. Believe it or not, cricket can trace its roots back to those humble beginnings.
So shepherds playing cricket in the fields.
That's the picture the book paints, yeah.
And now it's this global phenomenon.
It's come a long way.
Yeah, like
From those sleepy countryside pastures to roaring stadiums filled with thousands of screaming fans.
yeah, and it's not just fans. It's like big
Yeah.
money,
No,
billion-dollar
billion-dollar franchises.
franchises. Yeah.
Players who are treated like royalty. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting how some sports
Hmm.
really capture the imagination of an entire nation or an entire culture.
Yeah,
And cricket seems to be one of those,
it really is.
especially in certain parts of the world, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, India, Pakistan, Australia, the West Indies. It's more than just a game in those places. It's part of their identity.
Yeah, it's like a religion almost.
It practically is, yeah.
So we started with shepherds in a field.
Hmm.
How did we get from there to, these billion-dollar, enterprises?
Well, that's a journey that spans centuries.
Yeah.
And I think the book makes a really compelling argument
Okay.
that cricket is more than just a game.
Yeah, okay.
It's a mirror reflecting the societies and historical forces that have shaped it.
Mm.
England may have given the world the basic recipe of cricket, so to speak,
Yeah.
but other countries have taken those ingredients and created entirely new culinary masterpieces.
I like that. That's a good analogy.
Think India, Australia, the West Indies, each with their unique flavor and style.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not
Evolved, it's branched out.
it's not just one thing. It's like adapted to the places that it's gone to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And you mentioned history.
Mhm.
Of course, we can't talk about cricket without talking about its relationship with, colonialism and the British Empire.
Yeah, that's a big part of the story.
Yeah.
Cricket was often used as a tool by the British, a way to, impose their culture and values on the colonies.
Right.
But there's a fascinating twist to that.
Okay.
Because many of those former colonies, especially India, have become cricket powerhouses.
Right.
They now dominate the sport on the world stage.
So they took it and ran with it.
Yeah, it's like a poetic reversal of power dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting how that happens with some things.
It is,
Where
yeah.
it's like, introduced by, a conquering force, and then it's taken over by,
The conquered people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make it their own.
Yeah. And I know there's probably a lot of, tension and
Oh, yeah.
politics tied up in cricket as well.
Absolutely. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Right.
There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of rivalry.
Yeah.
And sometimes things can get pretty heated.
Yeah. So it's not, a lot of people, when they think of cricket,
Yeah.
I think they think of it as this very polite, genteel
Yeah, the gentleman's game.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But the book gets into some of the darker side of it.
It dives into the controversies,
Yeah.
the scandals,
Yeah.
the match fixing, the on-field brawls.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that beneath the surface of any sport,
Yeah.
there are these intensely human stories playing out.
Yeah. And those human stories often involve,
Yeah.
greed and ego. And,
Absolutely. All the things that make us human,
Right.
both good and bad,
Yeah.
come out in cricket, just like they do in any other walk of life.
Yeah. So we've got history, we've got drama,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have to talk about this whole thing
Yeah.
with the 5-day matches.
The legendary test matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people just can't wrap their heads around.
Yeah.
How can a game possibly go on for that long?
Right. I mean, I've heard of these,
Right.
but I don't think I've ever actually watched one.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's a test of patience.
Yeah. And I know people get really into them,
Oh.
but I'm trying to imagine watching a baseball game for 5 straight days.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it.
I think the key is to shift your perspective a little bit.
Okay.
Don't think of it as just a game, but as a novel unfolding in real time.
Oh.
With all the twists and turns, the moments of brilliance, the nail-biting tension.
Yeah.
It's a story that takes its time to tell.
Okay. I'm starting to understand.
And that's part of its beauty.
Okay. So it's
It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
It's not just about who wins or loses.
Yeah.
It's about the whole experience
The whole experience, yeah.
of the game unfolding.
And in a way, it's kind of a reflection of life itself, isn't it?
I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah, you have your highs and lows, your moments of boredom, your moments of brilliance.
Yeah.
It's all there in Test cricket.
Okay. Well, before we get into all the intricacies of the game itself,
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to sort of play a little
Yeah.
what if game with you.
All right, I like it.
So first of all, let's just say hypothetically,
Okay.
cricket vanished
Poof.
overnight.
Okay.
It just disappeared.
What happens?
What do you think the repercussions of that would be?
Oh, the consequences would be huge,
Yeah.
especially in a place like India.
Okay.
I mean, the Indian Premier League, the IPL,
Yeah.
that's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, I've heard of the IPL, but I don't really know what it is.
It's basically a professional 2020 cricket league,
Okay.
and it's massive.
Yeah.
So if cricket suddenly disappeared, the economic impact would be staggering,
Wow. Yeah.
not to mention the cultural impact.
Yeah, and I hadn't even really thought about that side of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, in some places, it's so tied up with people's identity.
It's a way of life.
Yeah.
For many people. It's
Yeah.
a source of immense pride and national identity.
Okay, so that's one what if.
All right.
Now let's imagine a different scenario.
Okay.
What if, instead of getting rid of cricket,
Yeah.
we took those 5-day test matches
Mm-hmm.
and we sped them up?
Okay.
So let's say a 2-day test match.
All right.
Everything's condensed. It's nonstop action.
Uh-huh.
It's tailored for our modern,
Our short attention span.
short attention spans. Yeah.
All right.
Do you think it would work?
That's a tough one.
Mm.
I think it would definitely be exciting. More action, more drama, more instant gratification.
Yeah.
But I suspect it would be met with fierce resistance from cricket purists.
Yeah, I could see that.
Part of the beauty of Test cricket lies in its traditional format.
Yeah.
The slow buildup of tension, the intricate strategies that unfold over days.
Yeah, and maybe the fact that it takes so long
Yeah,
makes those moments of excitement
Yeah.
even more powerful.
exactly.
So it's like you really have to wait for them.
You have to earn those moments.
Yeah.
And when they come, they're all the more special.
So maybe it wouldn't work.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance
Yeah.
between preserving tradition and innovating
Yeah.
and appealing to new audiences.
Yeah, but I think no matter what, there's
Mhm.
something about the core elements of cricket
Mm-hmm.
that are just timeless.
Yeah, the sound of the ball hitting the bat,
Yeah.
the sight of a perfectly executed shot,
Yeah.
the thrill of a close finish. Those are the things that transcend format and era.
Yeah.
And I think that's why cricket continues to captivate audiences around the world.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Even if those audiences might not always understand all the rules,
Right.
there's something about it that just draws people in.
Yeah. Okay, so we've set the stage pretty well.
I think so.
We've talked about, the history, the drama, the passion.
The what ifs.
And maybe in the next part, we'll get into some more of the specifics
I think that's a good plan.
about how the game is actually played.
Sounds good to me.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So we've talked about all the things surrounding cricket.
Yeah, the history, the drama, the what ifs.
But now let's get into the heart of it. What actually makes this sport so captivating?
Yeah, because I think there's something almost magical about it, even if you don't fully grasp all the rules.
Absolutely. And the book actually compares it to life. You know?
It's a game of strategy, patience, and sometimes just pure luck, just like life itself.
I can see that, yeah, with the highs and lows, the unexpected setbacks.
Right, and you never know what's going to happen next. You can have a batsman struggling for hours, and then suddenly...
Bam, they hit a six.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even when things are tough, there's always a chance for a breakthrough.
I love that. And it's not all about brute force either, is it? There's a huge mental aspect to cricket.
Oh, absolutely. The book really emphasizes that. It's a mental game as much as it is physical, maybe even more so.
Yeah, because you have to stay focused for such long periods under immense pressure.
Right. You need incredible stamina, both physically and mentally, to stay calm and composed and make split-second decisions when the stakes are high. That takes a special kind of strength.
Definitely. And the book even mentions how temperament can be just as important as raw talent.
Yeah, some of the greatest cricketers weren't the most physically gifted, but they had this incredible mental fortitude.
Right? Like, they could read the game, outsmart their opponents, and stay cool under pressure.
It's almost like a game of chess out there on the field.
That's a great way to put it. Always trying to anticipate the next move, stay one step ahead.
Exactly. That strategic depth is what makes it so fascinating to watch, even if you don't understand every detail.
It's like you're watching a master strategist at work. Okay, so we've got the mental game, the historical context, and all that drama.
But we can't forget about the fans.
Right. What is it about cricket that inspires such incredible passion and devotion?
Well, especially in places like India, Pakistan, Australia, it's intertwined with national identity.
Yeah, it's like when the national team is playing, the whole country is right there with them.
Exactly. Sharing in the wins and the losses, it becomes this collective experience.
It's powerful stuff. And those matches against rival nations, oh man, forget about it.
It goes beyond just a game, doesn't it?
It's like a battle for bragging rights, a clash of cultures, a chance to prove your national pride.
It's intense, and that intensity is amplified in those legendary 5-day test matches.
Oh yeah, speaking of those, I know we touched on them earlier, but let's dive back in for a sec.
Sure, what about them?
Well, when you zoom out and look at the big picture, I think the appeal lies in that slow burning tension, the ebb and flow.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. All right.
Exactly. And there are going to be moments of boredom, frustration, even exhaustion.
You got to be prepared for the long haul.
But the book argues that those long stretches are actually crucial to the experience.
They build the anticipation, the subtle shifts in momentum that lead to those explosive moments.
Right, when a batsman hits a perfect shot or a bowler takes a crucial wicket.
And those moments become so much more rewarding because you've had to wait for them.
You've earned them. You've been through the ups and downs with the team.
It's a journey. And like we said before, it mirrors life in a lot of ways.
Okay, so it's making me think about those what-if scenarios again.
Go on, I'm intrigued.
What if cricket was invented today? In our age of instant gratification and social media, would it even survive?
That's a really good question. I imagine it'd be a very different game.
Yeah, way more condensed, visually driven,
Right, like drones capturing every angle, players mic'd up, fans interacting online in real time.
It'd be like a cricket-themed reality show.
You're probably right. Constant action, instant feedback, tailored for short attention spans.
But would it still have the same magic? Would it inspire the same level of passion?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd have the potential to reach a wider audience, but maybe you'd lose something essential along the way.
That sense of history, tradition, the slow-burning tension, it's a tough balance.
For sure, preserving the core of the game while also evolving with the times.
Speaking of evolution, let's not forget about technology and how it's already changing cricket.
Yeah, instant replays, Hawkeye. They've had a huge impact.
Oh yeah, now we can dissect every play in slow motion, analyze every angle, debate every decision.
We've all become armchair umpires.
Exactly, but has it taken away some of the mystery?
It's possible there was a certain charm to the old days when the umpire's word was final.
Right, that human element, the acceptance that mistakes happen, it's part of what made it exciting.
But on the flip side, technology has also made the game fairer, more transparent.
It's a trade-off, for sure, but as long as it enhances the game without fundamentally changing its spirit, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. At its heart, cricket is about skill, strategy, and that human element.
Exactly, and that's what we'll keep exploring as we move forward.
Okay, so we've explored a lot of the deeper aspects of cricket.
Yeah.
The history, the cultural impact, all of that. But before we wrap things up, I thought it'd be fun to, give our listeners some fun facts, some trivia that they can use to
I like it.
impress their friends.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, are you ready for a little cricket trivia challenge?
Hit me with your best shot.
Okay, all right. First one, true or false? A cricket bat can't be wider than 4.25 inches.
4.25 inches, that's pretty specific.
It is very specific.
Yeah, I'm going to say true.
You are correct.
All right.
It is true.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that very precise measurement.
I bet it has something to do with balance, right?
Yeah. It's all about balance and fairness.
Makes sense. You wouldn't want bats to be like giant tennis rackets out there.
Exactly. You got to keep things fair.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay. Next one is about the term sticky wicket.
Ooh, I've heard that one before.
I'm sure you have.
But I don't actually know what it means in cricket.
So, can you guess what a sticky wicket refers to in the context of the game?
Sticky wicket. I'm going to guess it has something to do with the field, maybe when it's wet and muddy after rain.
You are on the right track.
Okay.
It does refer to the condition of the pitch, which is the area where the batsman stands.
Right.
And when it rains, the pitch can get really, sticky and difficult to play on.
Ah, so that's where the expression comes from.
Exactly.
That's cool. I always love learning the origins of those kind of sayings.
Me too.
All right, give me one more.
All right, last one.
Okay.
The fastest recorded bowled ball in cricket history
Okay.
was clocked at a mind-blowing 100.2 miles per hour.
100 miles an hour.
100.2 miles per hour.
That's insane.
I know, right?
Like, I can't even imagine trying to hit a ball coming at me that fast.
It's amazing. It's a testament to the athleticism and the skill of these players.
It really is. I mean, to generate that kind of speed,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
So there you have it.
Some Sun cricket facts?
Some cricket trivia to impress your friends.
I'm going to use those.
And, I think throughout this deep dive, we've really uncovered just how fascinating this sport is.
It's so much more than just a game.
Yeah, it's a reflection of history, culture, strategy, human drama.
It's got it all.
It really does.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a sport that will challenge you, entertain you, and maybe even teach you a thing or two about life,
cricket might just be the answer.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap things up.
All right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of cricket.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
Until then, keep exploring.